Hey guys, welcome to the video on Chainlink this morning. Here to give my opinion on the market. Therefore, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You're responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, and doing your own research. Just my opinion on the market here. What I want to look at is I want to take a look at what we just recently had happen on Chainlink. And again, if you're on the Discord, you know that we sold Chainlink at about $2.30 or so. So we actually sold up here. This is my P&L that I kept on the chart from the other day. And we sold this trade at about $2.30. Actually, it just so happens that where the end of my P&L is right at about the price where we decided to sell. This trade is still in profit if you'd like to sell at this point, right? So just kind of pointing that out before I remove this from the chart. So the trade started here. We did pull back down here to about 216 or so. We had our nice impulsive move up to about 237. Of course, I wish I would have sold at 237, but nobody ever does that, right? Nobody's ever able to catch the bottom and catch the top every time. But nonetheless, we got out of the trade with a little bit of profit, which is better than losing money, right? Even after fees, money was still made there. All right, so I'm going to remove this P&L just so that it clears up the charts. I do think that Link is going to have a little bit of relief on the extreme short term, right? And I do mean extreme short term because going back to an hourly time frame, this is not looking good, right? So again, possible for us to find a little bit of a bottom here, similar to Bitcoin, right? We're talking about Bitcoin going up to 8,200. I don't know that Chainlink is going to pop itself all the way up here to 250, although there is a possibility that that could happen. We got a little bit of a rejection here off the 618 extension. Measuring the length of the first wave down to the second wave. So this third wave, the C wave, whatever you want to call it, it extended a little bit beyond 61.8% of the length of the first wave. We could get 100% the length of the first wave. It's possible that this happens. And let's just take a look here. From this bottom down here to this top right here, where are we sitting? Because this is important. All right, so we could go back down here to 220. If we go here to 220, then it is possible for us to go up here to this 250. I would say that because we are beyond the 50% of this move, likely possible for us to come here to 220 to 221, maybe even down here to 215, 216, although I don't think that that is likely. If we come down here, then we're likely going to continue moving down. But nonetheless, this move up here to this 4, which is at about 247, I say it's still possible. It is still possible for us to do that. However, now that I've got that on here, let's just take a look at this. All right, so if we do make that move up, and likely what it's going to look like, it's going to look like a move down here, then we're going to see a 1, 2, and then we're going to see this 3, 4, and then we're going to get our 5 to come up here to our target of $2.47. Possible for that to happen. I'm not going to bet on that too much right now, just because of of what I see on a more macro trend on a lot of the charts. A lot of the alts are suffering a bit right now, which leads me to believe that Bitcoin's about ready to make a pretty significant move. If Bitcoin makes a move to the upside and the alts have already bled, then I would say that it is possible for us to get up here to the 247. However, if Bitcoin moves to the downside, I do want to talk about what I think could happen, right? Again, already talking about this trade being done, and we're now moving down. I would say that there is a trade to be made here at about the 220 mark, potentially getting us up there to that zone where we're talking about. I would take profit completely here at about 244 though. We'll extend that out and put our stop loss approximately right here. I would go ahead and put the stop at the 786 right there at about 216, 216 and a half or some change, right? So that is a trade that is possible, It is riskier, right? So just to be very clear on this trade is a lot riskier than what we took back here. So the trade that we took back here played out pretty well. And again, if you were on the Discord, you knew that we exited that trade, and now we have another opportunity to take the trade. But typically, second chances are met ill-fated. So keep that stop loss if you do happen to take that trade. Layer bids down. Don't take the trade at 220. Similar to what we did on Lumens last week. We had bids at 842, 852, 862. We got the 862 trade. We got out of the trade. Or I guess that was 762. I don't remember exactly what it was. I remember 42, 52, and 62. But we got out of that trade, and now we're back down below where that trade started, and we got out of the trade and all of that. It all worked out really well for us. So layer the bids down here. Keep the stop loss at $2.16 and change, right? So I would layer bids at probably 217, 218, 219, and 220. So 4 bids down here. And I would have just nibbles here at the 220 mark and have your bigger bites down here at the 217 mark, cutting your losses below on an hourly close below 216. That would be the way that I would take that trade. And again, this is a lot more risky compared to the other trade that we did on Link a few days ago. But it would be nice to see a 100% move on the length of the first wave for this third wave here, although the time that it's taking is a little extended. So I'm not a real big fan of the time of this, which is also why I'm saying that this is risky. All right, so now let's take a look at Chainlink. I'm going to pull up this on a different exchange if it looks okay. Okay, this actually looks like there's a bit of liquidity here. I want to take a look at this from a 12-hour time frame because this is very interesting. All right, so we have our top, which is at let's see, I want to make sure that this falls in line with other exchanges. So we top out at $6 on Binance. We topped, no, we didn't. All right, so I really can't do that. All right, so let's just take a look at this then on this exchange. This is going to look very, very messy. Let me check who hit BTC and see if that tops out. That looks awful. Okay, no, I can't do that. All right, I'm going to have to use the Binance for this, the Binance charts for this. And I'm going to remove, or at least, yeah, I'm going to remove the P&L there, and I hate to do it, but I'm going to have to just blow this all away, and I can always undo that. But what I want to point out here is we have a pretty clear rejection down here. We had a rejection at the 50, and back. Back here I was talking that we could get a move up here to the 618, but we didn't. We got only up here to the 50. So what that leads me to believe, and I really hate to say this, and I'm probably going to have people coming and putting a message here in the chat saying that I have no idea what I'm talking about, but it's possible that that Chainlink comes back down here to $1.25. And this is where I said that I'm probably going to lose some followers saying this, but with this rejection that we had here, this is a strong rejection here, and you can't deny that this rejection here is pretty strong, and you also can't deny the fact that what we're creating down here is a pretty bearish formation. That yeah, we could get a move to the upside to maybe 250, 240, but that doesn't put a dent in all of this resistance that we have in our overhead. And if we break down from this, it is very possible that we do see this move back down to $1.25. So this is why I am saying that the move to 250 is risky. It's also why I'm saying that we've got this move down here, 61.8% the length of this first wave. This is a good and valid 3-wave correction. Okay, so we have to be very careful. So if we do see this, right, we've got our first wave, our second wave, and now we're going to go for our third wave. And this is going to take time to turn out. It's going to make people think that we're going to move to the upside. It's going to make people think that we're bullish. That's how markets work. We see these rejections down here, and we think, oh, well, the correction is over, the bottom is in, so I'm going to enter my trade and not have a plan behind it. You have to have a plan for your trade. But right now what this looks like we're going to be moving to the downside. If we take a look at this from a measured move, if we take the this post here from the top to this bottom here, and we take a look at this from a measured move, let's just see where we land. All right, so I would say if we put the 50 on here, I like to put the 50 on this, and that would be a negative 50. We get a move down here to about $1.40. So this range, I think, is worth paying attention to. This range right down here. Because what that gets us down to, that gets us to 61.8% the length. But if we get just down here to the 50, well, that creates a double bottom, a nice double bottom down here, right? So we have a bottom here, move up, and a move down here to the bottom where we retrace the entire move. And as we all know, if you taking a look at things like Beyond Meat or Cardano or some of these others, you get a move to the upside and then we retrace the entire move, right? Take a look at the Bitcoin China pump. We had a 40% move, the biggest in Bitcoin history, yada, yada, yada. Okay, well, everybody was talking about that, but you got to look at this, that what goes up can come down, right? You have the laws of gravity that are taking place here, and we have retraced the entire move and then some. So it is possible for us to do this. It is very possible, and I think it's likely that this will happen over time. Yeah, there's still money to be made on lower term time frames. Again, I'm looking at the 12-hour time frame right here. So when we're looking at this, we're taking a look at basically 47 bars, so you're talking about 24 days of movement here to take us down here. We're literally talking about Christmas moving ourselves down here to this zone. So Christmas, New Year's, I do think that, that there is possibility that we come down here. Everybody talks about New Year's and Christmas, that we're going to be going high like we did in 2017. And then also we're also taking a look at what the price was doing around that time in 2018. That was the bottom in 2018. In December of 2018, that was the bottom. So do we have another opportunity for this to be the bottom in 2018 as well? If we move up here, we come down here, we go down here in waves, and we start to curl, and that could be the bottom in 2018. In December of 2019, we could have the bottom again. We could. I'm not saying we will, because nobody knows, but it is a possibility that that does occur again. All right, so that is Chainlink versus Tether. Let's just take a look for a moment. Take a look at Chainlink versus Bitcoin and see what it's doing right now. I'm going to go back to an hourly time frame. Take a look. Again, this trade, very similar. We had to move up. We're back down here to basically where we entered. And so I'm also now expecting at this point that we will continue to move to the downside a bit. So I would be very careful with this, because we are talking about this move potentially up here to the D, but we found our resistance, and now we're back down here at the bottom of this pennant that we were talking about for a while. So this pennant, I'm not so sure that this is still in play because of the rejection that we had, but nonetheless we did make it a little bit, and then we were pulled right back down to where we started. So the trade, even though it is in profit right now, I don't believe that this is a trade worth holding on to anymore if you're still in it. Basically you gotta monitor any trades that you're in. You can't just buy and just sit in them blindly, unless you're in it for long term, like you're planning on buying and then just like not looking at it for the next 1-2 years, and you're going to come back to it later. Hopefully you didn't do that in 2017, buying and then holding on to it, because you've likely lost 90% of your money. But nonetheless, buying dips, and then that could work if you're buying ultra low prices on these altcoins. But yeah, so this trade that we were in was a short-term trade. But, of course, it hasn't gone up here yet, and it's not out of the question that we're going to move up, because if you take a look back here where we hit the bottom, we had a nice move up, we moved down, we moved up, we moved down, and then we finally moved up. So is that what's going to happen here? It is possible. We move up, we move down, we might move up, we might move down, and then we might finally move up to that D. So the trade could still be good. I just don't like it. Right, I don't like the trade, so I'm not going to suggest staying in that trade for right now, just because of how Bitcoin is acting right now. But again, it's possible, but the probability has been reduced since we've retraced back to the entry. If you were in the trade, you could stay in it, but again, the trade, you just keep that stop loss. If we do start to move back up here again, just move the stop loss up a bit, right? So at least you're not giving it all back to the market, because you made some, then you just gave it all back to the market. Whereas you could have made profit, and then you could try it again, right? If you're in it, for the swings, you could be trying this trade again. Possible that it could happen. But that's my 15 minutes on Chainlink right now. I do think that over time Chainlink can go down to about $1.25 to $1.50. So I'm not going to be sitting in Chainlink. If I do, it's going to be just short swings. But probably won't be communicating that too much. But again, if you do have any questions or anything, if you're interested in taking these trades, then if you're in the Discord, throw in a comment if you don't have an invite to the Discord. But I'll be talking, answering questions on there and giving my perspective and my opinions. But nonetheless, that's what I've got on Chainlink right now. If you have any questions or anything, I'm always lurking around on the Discord, as our friend Crypto Anonymous said, lurking in the shadows. But nonetheless, I hope you're having a good day, good night, wherever you are in the world. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. We want to spread the word. And I will catch you all later in the Discord.